Ellaru Namaskara. Hello everyone. So this is your Vinay Kumar GB, founder and director of Insights IAS. So after 1 year, I am again here at Insights IAS. So we are going to have a wonderful conversation regarding UPSC Civil Services examination and also other stuff related to exam and maybe so based on the curiosity of our toppers. So we have 4 toppers who used to be our OGP students, offline guidance program students. I'm very happy to see them here. So 4 of them have topped in the forest services exam as well as civil services examination. So we have Shashi, we have Anirudh, we have Tejas, and we have Diya. They are very familiar to me. I can say in case of Diya, more than 3 years. You are also 3 years, like 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, right? They have used library here, they have sat and studied here. And today I wanted to have a very candid conversation with them. I just wanted to understand their psychology and also how did they manage all the ordeals, all the ups and downs that are usually associated with this examination preparation. So, welcome to you all once again. So, let us start the conversation. So, again, it's very nice to see you. So, usually, whenever we used to meet, we used to come with maybe essay,
Yes.
answer, in a mock interview. So today is not mock interview or anyway, it's a real stuff. So it is reality that you people are toppers now, going to be part of this system. You'll be working as topmost like officers in your respective domains and districts. So how does it feel?
So it's been about a little more than a month, I guess, that the results were declared. Till now, I don't think that the entire feeling has sunk in, because I know my rank, I kind of know the service that I'll be getting. Beyond that, I think once we start training and the government trains us, we'll be able to understand what the civil service is actually.
But you are going to get IPS.
Yes,
So
I'm
based on your
expecting
current
IPS.
rank.
Yes, sir.
Good, good. So how does it feel for you, Tejas? So this is your second attempt
Second
and
attempt.
first interview.
First interview.
You scored 201 in your interview.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The first 3-4 days were quite exciting. Getting calls and people just acknowledging that you've done something good. After that, I think I was back to normalcy.
Yeah.
And but just there was a big relief because right after my interview, I was not in the right stage of mind to start my preparation again. And we had about 15 days after my
So
interview.
why is that? After your interview, what happened?
Because I had given my everything for mains, prelims, and the interview in this attempt.
You were exhausted. Saturated.
Absolutely exhausted. I'd been to Delhi as well, stayed there. So out of home. So it's just done. So I don't know.
True.
So
in your case, how does it feel? So you have been, this is not new to you.
true.
Success, like you were a champion shooter.
True.
You have represented India in Asian Games, I think, Asian Championships. So there you might have won, definitely you have won medals. So there you might have celebrated after that. How is this celebration different compared to that celebration?
There was no what after this question, because after one competition, if you're winning, losing doesn't matter. We are getting on with life and preparing for the next competition. Here, somewhat there is a end to it. So that one relief is there, which is
very
you don't have to again start preparing like the way you did intensely.
But the mental competencies, I think it's the same both arenas.
Okay.
Maybe just the specifics of studying, specifics of sport will differ, but that mentality of trying to be a champion, trying to do things beyond what we believe is possible.
Were you nervous at any stage of this exam, like prelims, mains, interview?
Not much, because I try to apply whatever I learned in sport into my examination process as well. Like I used to do visualization, yoga, meditation, and keeping myself physically fit. So all these things, I think that sense of anxiety and the tension.
So you knew how to control them.
Yeah, fairly well.
Yes.
Nice.
As much as I have noticed, Tejas Sir, I don't think he was nervous in any stage of examination.
So you both studied together in the reading room, same reading room, this OGP one library.
Yes.
Nice. So I'm planning to rename it as Toppers Library. So we are getting so many toppers out of that library.
True.
So past like 7-8 years, so we have seen that. So for you, this is the first attempt.
Yes, sir.
In the classroom, you said something that struck like you coming from IIT, you wanted this clinical approach, I think.
Yes.
So I will work hard and in one attempt.
So I was looking at many toppers marks initially before entering this process. One stuck out to me was Tejas K. So his math marks were impressive. Mathematics software. So I was like, okay, so if he can do that, even I can replicate. Most probably. It didn't turn out to be the best. So that's when I seeked out your guidance. Like, should I stick with math or not? Then you said, if you're comfortable, give it one try with mathematics. So that's when I started realizing that this process is not exactly what I felt when I was thinking about it from an outsider perspective. Once I dived into it, I realized that getting out of it is the most cruel part of it.
Correct. You wanted IAS, like you
Yes,
tried for that. So now you have cleared forest service.
Yes.
So how does it feel getting rank in very first attempt?
It definitely, I am elated right now, sir. I don't think I'm grounded right now. I'm very blessed to be at the position I am right now. Because I've heard many stories and seen many stories which have not fortunately gone the way that mine went. Blessed and fortunate that it's
Good.
in my favor.
So Shashi, so in your very first attempt you went till interview.
Yes.
So I saw that journey. You were part of OGP.
Yes.
We were all happy. Like I was assuming at that time. Usually we hope for the better. So you were about to get rank in very first attempt, and then you didn't clear prelims next attempt. Another attempt you didn't clear prelims, I think. So you never gave up.
Yes.
You gave another attempt and you were successful. Rank 67 in forest services. So how does it feel?
So to be honest, it was a big sense of relief for me when I saw my name in the result list, because every time when I searched for my name, there was one common pop-up that no match is found.
Yes.
So when I saw my name, I couldn't believe that it was actually my name. I checked my roll number, it was me. And my parents were more happier than me. They had more wishes and blessings for me. Yes, sir, on the day of the results, it was pretty strange experience for me. I got around 137 phone calls and 145 WhatsApp messages. So it was a kind of new thing. And as of now, I'm happy with forest service. I'll be living amidst nature. I'll be living amidst poorest of the poor, where I think there are real scope to bring some good works. So I'm happy with my service, but I'm again trying to give next attempt to get into IAS.
Good. So I was wondering, like, he said he has got so many calls, he got so many WhatsApp messages. So that is after seeing your success, right?
Yes, sir.
So before that, nobody messages you. Very few
Very true,
people
sir.
stick to you,
And
right?
the messages you have
Absolutely.
received are also contrary to what we got right now. So
Huh?
Yeah.
it repeated.
The same people would have said two
Oh,
different
yeah, it's
things.
different.
What is your insight into this particular, psychology in the society? Like people, they treat you differently when you are successful and differently when you are not successful.
Absolutely, sir. I think this when one is walking down such a dark tunnel, I think that's a very good checklist for that person concerned to understand who are the most important people in their life. Because those who stick by you literally through thick and
So
thin.
you will come to know the most important
Absolutely.
persons.
And the people who value you for who you are, not who you can be or what do you bring to the table. You are a person having certain core values, and I think that is what is important for handful of people. And I'm so grateful to this journey because now I just have 5 friends. And I'm so happy that I exactly know that. I mean, that illusion of having 1,200 friends on social media and you have so many people and well-wishers. Yeah, there are always people who be wishing well. But that core friends, that core family, you're blessed if you have 5 or 7. And that's an asset for lifetime.
Why do you think this happens?
I think that's because people just look at the results and they don't get to see the process involved. So they don't know that they might be knowing, but consciously they don't make it a point that the result, whatever that we have got, it's just a byproduct of the things that we have done through our journey. So when that is not acknowledged, that's when they try to value results more. This I went through my sporting career as well. In the sense, if I'm shooting well, have more people talking and see all happy faces around. Not shooting well, not in form. That time I see people, even if they are looking at me, they're not talking. So kind of I was used to this, but this time it was at a bigger scale.
How do we ensure that they focus on process also? I mean, so for us to succeed, process is important. So as he said, people don't look at the process, all the difficulties we go through. So while inching towards success, so they ignore that. They will be commenting on that. They will be negatively commenting on that. So why you are stuck in this? Move on to another thing.
You said that I myself didn't know what the process actually consists of. I never knew that people here are struggling this hard. I thought the process is a bit more easier than that I currently know it of. So I don't think we can make aware of the process for everyone. But then there are people, if they really know the struggles that we go through, they wouldn't. They would stick in like our parents did or our close friends.
Did you watch that movie 12th
12th Fail? I was just about to say that has dramatically changed the perspective people have towards those who are writing the civil
So
services
keeping
exam.
that in mind, I asked the question.
It's a
Do you think
beautiful
such movies will make any
contribution.
difference?
Sir,
Did you see
even
that
I haven't
movie?
seen it, sir, but I believe, sir, I enjoyed the process because I believe I was truly interested in this field. For instance, sir, when I was doing my engineering, I was not so passionate about my field, my graduation. So I didn't had the desire to study for it. So since I wanted to be a civil servant, that made me to push to read, even though the process was intense. I liked the process and I started enjoying it. So I think if one person is interested in it, I think he or she will definitely enjoy it.
But I see that lack of passion in most of the people. So they come here, maybe for status, a prestige issue. They just want to achieve certain, status in the society. How do we bring that passion? How do we sustain that passion? So you rightly said, I go by that thing. I try to do something passionately, but it is not possible every day. But how do we ensure that? Because that has been biggest challenge for me running institution. Because we want more results, so we want more toppers. So if I want more toppers, I cannot spoon feed them and create toppers. It has to come from them. They should have passion for it.
I think along with passion, whatever is being done has to be done on a very sustainable basis. There are people who've told me that they are studying for 1 week for like 14-15 hours a day, and then the entire next week is something that they can't even sit for an hour. I think
Did you go through
steadiness
that process, like all of you, studying for few days very intensely and then not doing it for like few days? Then how did you come back?
I used to maintain a very strict schedule throughout my day, and my beginning part of the day, the first 3 hours used to be highly concentrated and very conscious. So once I used to do that in the first 3 hours, mostly about fitness or if I have to do studies, not seeing phone. Once I keep that 3 hours good, whole day used to be a breeze. But the first 3 hours, if we are looking at our phones, distracted in the first hour itself,
absolutely.
then I felt it was much difficult to bring myself back on track. So that was one thing I followed. And also like having a clear process in mind, in the sense mentally how we are navigating through the things. Just it would be a small test series where we have scored less marks, and how we are going to take the outcome of that. If you are going to see failure as associating it yourself, or are we just seeing it as an event which is happening, disassociating with the results? Those are very small things, but that will absolutely change the way we have outlook towards life itself.
So do you think academics matter? So where you come from, which institution, how you studied in your institution, does it have anything to do with UPSC preparation?
To me, yes, sir. Because I was fortunately among the elites of IIT that I can consider. So to me, looking at them, they were always an inspiration. Even now, despite having a lump sum salary, they're still pursuing their career in abroad, having good higher studies. So nothing stopping them. So they were always an inspiration, and they carrying it forward. So the ecosystem that I thrived in was always very competitive, cutthroat, if I could call it as. So that was.
So that brings in discipline, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the crowd brings in discipline.
But contrarily, I have seen something on the negative side also. People coming from IIT, they try to be perfectionists sometimes, or they want to achieve certain things immediately, as you said rightly earlier.
Yes,
so you feel like if you replicate the same kind of hard work here, you can succeed easily. They get into depression when they can't do that.
Yes, I remember once I was mentioning this to you, sir, that I am almost able to do just 80% of whatever I want to do that day. And I was very sad about the remaining 20%. That's when I think, yes, sir, you said focus on that 80% and perfect it rather than perfecting the 100%. Since the day I was like, it's fine. I did 80%, I should be happy with my efforts. There are many people who are not doing this at least. So tomorrow I will go for 85%.
Because I've seen some guys from IIT when they were not able to do well in test series, they took it to heart,
Yes, sir.
they became really very sad, and some of them quit the preparation because they were correlating this with their previous performance in the campuses, IIT campus. So I think what I believe is that when you come here, you should come with a fresh mind, open mind. So whatever discipline, whatever attitude you have developed, that will definitely help. But approach to this exam preparation should be totally different
It has to be,
compared to
sir.
your academics.
Academics, 100%, sir.
You come from like rural background, and how does it feel now? I mean, when you go back home, when you said you got lots of messages, lots of WhatsApp wishes, do they truly understand the importance of uh, the success you have gained, and do they just celebrate because your name was there in TV or?
So to be honest, most of the people don't know what exactly these posts are.
They will keep telling IAS,
Yes,
IAS.
sir, yeah.
You
So they
you
are
become
not-
IAS officer, even though it is forest
Yes, sir.
service.
So they are not more aware of it.
Hmm.
But still, I think, sir, there is a elitist mindset associated with this service, which I think it has not to be.
Hmm.
Because if we see in developed countries, sir, there they treat a civil servant as any other government servant.
Hmm.
In India, there is that colonial legacy associated with it. I think that should not be the case. And yes, sir, they celebrated my success, and even I am trying to bring more awareness within the rural community.
Hmm.
So, in fact, I recently addressed around 300 to 400 students where they got to know about the services. So, I think with more awareness, I think they'll be better able to know about the services.
But now we have succeeded. Like, I want honest answer here. So is it possible for let's say like rural students, regional language medium students, to compete in this examination where the competition is really, very tough? Hmm? What do you think?
I think it's definitely possible.
Hmm.
The way I look at it is like, suppose we have somebody who's given everything, coaching, the resources to find test series, everything, but they don't have the hunger in them.
Hmm.
Then they're ending up on the losing side. But the same person, when they've seen the hardships and they have that raw hunger in them to succeed, I think it's a good thing to have. And also, that hunger, it cannot be given by giving some materialistic things. So if the experiences of life is giving you that, then I think even they have a good chance.
So you say they have the personality for it,
True.
Yes,
maybe
sir.
like better guidance and
True, true.
better awareness, as you said,
And
That might-
caliber also, sir.
caliber.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
If they come with the right mindset and
Mhm.
if they get the right support,
Mhm.
I think they can make it big.
Okay. Why you wanted to be civil servant? So earlier you said your seniors or your peers
Yes.
gone to higher studies. So why did you look into civil service?
To me, it was matter of when then wise. So
Mhm.
I was always aspiring to this. However, COVID helped me fast in this process. I was more into semiconductors and I wanted to pursue higher studies there. But then due to lockdown, I was not able to access the labs.
So you wanted to complete higher studies and come back
and
for
come back
civil
in.
services.
Yes,
Okay.
that was the plan initially.
Hmm.
Because of COVID, I had to jump in beforehand itself.
Hmm.
So it was just a matter of when rather than why.
Okay. So with respect to like mains preparation, what helped you sail through mains phase?
So I've always loved writing.
Hmm.
I'm a lawyer by training. 5 years of law school, they taught us to write.
Hmm.
So till now, I really feel that out of 3 stages of the exam, prelims is the most dicey and the
Okay.
most challenging stage of the exam. Mains has always been something that I felt I could do well, and my efforts. And I really believe that this is a principle in mains. The outcome is quite proportional to the efforts that you put in,
Hmm.
which is not really true for either
Hmm.
interview or prelims.
Okay. So you come from law background where the writing is intense there, especially when you come from top law school, and you come from IIT and the contrary, right? So there you are not used to writing general study stuff like something like philosophical essays, and it's totally new. You chose Insights, part of your journey. You also chose, and I have seen earlier like Jay Dev, who got all India rank. He was a brilliant writer. Even then he came here. So how did the ecosystem here, the resources or people here, or how did you make use of them? In your case, to be good at writing, and in your case, to maybe moderate writing or improve it.
So in my case, the right ecosystem was provided initially. because Faris Sir, who's ancient and medieval street faculty, he was asking us to write answers every day in class, and that broke the inertia of writing answers for me. And then I carried it forward for other subjects. Even if faculties were not asking us to write, I was somehow taking out an interest in asking them to evaluate an answer, however simple it may be, just to get the grasp of what answer writing is, because I was always into solving stuff rather than recalling and writing. You guided me through essay, because I remember you during our foundation course, you said, come to me and show your essays. And you also mentioned that not many will do this thing.
Correct.
So I took it as a challenge that I should show it. This. Not many will do it, I should do this. Right?
How many essays you might have written?
Every week since August, every week one essay.
Okay. So what is your essay score?
124.
124. So that's a very
Yes,
good
that's
score.
right.
Yes, good. So you had scored less marks in essay, right?
Yes, I got 94 in my first
94. So now 130?
133.
133. So how did you make improvement in that?
In my first attempt, I actually joined the essay coaching class, and they gave notes. And in the examination hall, I couldn't think beyond those notes. But when I used to write at home, I used to think well. But I don't know, just because I revised it so many times just before the exam, my original thoughts were not flowing. But this attempt, what I did, I discarded that, and I brought out my original thoughts, like how I used to write during my practice sessions. And you were reinforcing that always write original things, even if it is unconventional, it is fine. The popular market tells that you need to follow a framework, and there needs to be a specific structure to the essay and things like that. But I didn't follow that this time. Maybe
so any essay that comes out of art, I mean, the flow will be good when you don't actually plan very well structure, right? The original thoughts, you have to learn to accommodate all your originality in that flow. I think the practice will help you do that, and for reader it will be relatable.
Yes.
And all of you have really scored like 125 plus all
Yes,
of your
sir.
scores. That's a wonderful marks, I think, this attempt.
And I followed Blinkist.com.
Yeah, Blinkist.
So Sir itself had suggested me.
The problem is we suggest people. So very few people follow that. So why do you think? Because you've been studying in library, surrounded with 100 people. So you said very few people come and show. That is why you took it as a challenge and you started coming with essays. So now I want to understand, from my perspective, because you have been in touch with so many students, why most of the people don't come and show up? What happens in between?
The first day that they do, right? And immediately after that, they don't see the results. So when they don't see that, they stop trusting that things will work if they do that. So they'll try to do whatever is comfortable and get back to their comfort zones. But it's only after a point that we get out of our comfort zone and start doing difficult things, maybe for a few months at a time. That's when we start to see the results later.
So that instant gratification,
Yes.
that is what they want.
I want to add here, sir, I think one of the greatest obstacles which I can vouch for that maybe 90% of the aspirants face, sir, they have obsessive attachment with the outcome. And that reflects in consistency also, as he just said, adding to him, if you can't see the results after having solved 50 MCQs in the next prelims test that you write, they feel that okay, maybe it's not working out, the passion fades a little bit. To be very passionately detached, I called it passionate detachment. I was very passionately involved in whatever I was doing, and somehow by God's grace, and I'll tell how, I was very detached from the outcome. And the how was because, especially the last 1 year, so I've told you that it was very hectic for me. I was doing 3 things. I had to take care of my job, my LLM and my exam. I never had the time in my brain to think about the outcome. If aspirants today can curate their daily routine in a way where they'll have some amount of hours for exercise, some amount of hours for studying, and then some amount of time maybe to take a light moment in their day, if they can actually fill up their routine in a very productive way, they wouldn't have any space in their mind to think about the outcome. And when you can dissociate with that thought process, I think you're a winner then and there. You can be very focused on the
Another
process.
thing I think is distractions, right? So we tell something and then suddenly another topper will tell something,
Yes,
another institution will tell something. So they will try everything. Maybe they will go for the easier.
I'll call it conformative bias. Suppose if this thing is not working out in my first week, okay, the same thing was advised by someone else. Doesn't matter the result, but I'm doing it. I'll follow that approach because I'm doing it now. I want to stay rigid to myself. I'll not be open to suggestions. Okay, suppose this topper said I'll follow this approach. I'll carry on with the pastel approach because it worked for him like 5 years ago, and I want it to work right now as well. So we are basically following the same herd mentality here as well, where we are not trying to bring what we have to,
Originality.
yes sir, rather than we're just sticking to the process.
So how did you deal with two prelims failure after your first breakthrough? I mean, you went till interview in your first attempt. So that must have been very tough phase.
Yes, sir.
How did you handle?
It was a quite challenging situation, sir. In fact, I thought of quitting this preparation, to be honest. But sir, there was a constant support system, sir. I had good friends, and my parents were very supportive of me, and my brother, sir, especially. Even he also motivated me to give up for this preparation. And my father was always telling not to give up, because he always used to tell me, if you become a civil servant, just go and visit the places where slum people are living, and go and visit places where poorest of the poor are living. There you will understand the hardships they are facing, and if you look at that, you are not facing any hardship in your life. Because I was fortunate to get good education, and I was fortunate to get good guidance from people like you. So all these support systems made me possible to where I am sitting right now, sir.
So the support system, I think, is very important for any aspirant, because it's difficult to handle the failure here, because you create huge expectations in everyone's minds, and when you don't crack it, so suddenly all these people, they also feel sad, the dear ones. So other people might criticize or silently laugh also. So at that time, I think you need this support system.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible to formalize that support system, like in addition to coaching? So I'm just asking for an idea here, because we do it, like like for some of you we might have done previously, we might have done, but again it may not be possible to do it for everyone. How
I
can
had an idea regarding this, and I was about to talk to you one of these days. I think for this exam, everyone would agree that studying is one of the easiest things that you have to do. The tough part is the competition and doing it every day, day in and day out. So the emotional challenges that a candidate faces, if at all it can be possible, because say Chandra Layout is the place where lots of aspirants are present. The idea is inspired by the Alcoholic Anonymous groups, which are very prevalent in the western part of the world. Some kind of group
therapy?
Yeah, therapy wherein people come and talk to each other about the challenges they are facing. I always say that there is strength in numbers. If more number of people are talking about the issues that they are facing, maybe someone can relate to it and they'll feel that okay, they are not alone.
Correct.
And they can gain inspiration from each other. And maybe if possible, someone could anchor this process, give the platform that okay, a classroom is there, come along, talk to each other. And I think that could
This
be
is a very good idea.
Yes.
So what happens, I think they'll get an opportunity to vent out their whatever negative feelings. Then, as she said, someone says the same thing, you will relate to them. You are not alone. And I think they will lighten the
Absolutely.
heart. So maybe we'll do something like that. So because I want to do that, because now I have seen so much in this field and beyond this field. So what saddens me here is that many people come with high hopes, and large number of people are coming here, and in a very, the productivity is getting affected. Their contribution to society is also getting impacted. They are not able to contribute to the society. They're at the end of the day, they're consumers. So most of the people, 99.9%, like whatever, right? So there's those who don't make it. I don't know what happens to them, how they get absorbed into the system. Right? I mean, this competition is cruel.
Yes, sir.
But is it possible to make it more humane and make it short, so that people can move on into another productive field and contribute? So I keep suggesting people prepare for 1 or 2 years and then go for a job or higher education. So I think you did that, right?
Yes,
like
sir.
you completed your LLM.
Yes, sir.
And you worked in National Law School also.
Yes, sir. So
So
I think that gave me a kind of an anchor and balance that helped me maximize my productivity to an extent that
but some people feel like doing higher education might affect the preparation. Did it affect your preparation?
Absolutely not, sir.
Not.
I think what mattered to me in the last 1 year, I don't know if I can pull off another year like that again in the near future, because that 1 year seems to be very blurry to me. I think the moment one does something like that, because the whole year I was sleeping for 4 hours, less than that, because of my commitments. Now I know that if in case something like that, some challenge of some that magnitude comes along, I'll be able to carry it off again.
Okay.
So I think these are personal hurdles. We create these hurdles in our mind. The moment we decide to break them in our mind, I think human mind body is very capable to do whatever they set their eyes and their
Okay.
goals on.
So in your case, so you had this, shooting career. So you were a champion. I think in the beginning you tried to balance it.
Yes.
And then did you continue to balance it, or did you miss shooting? Like, how did you manage preparation along with your practice?
Actually, my shooting I had stopped during my preparation phase because even one match, if you are not playing, then the average is not counted for the whole year. So in
Okay.
case I have some exam clashing, and throughout the year we have competitions, so I thought it doesn't make any sense if I'm missing any competitions. So that's why I have paused shooting, but I've restarted now. So if we throughout the day, if we associate ourselves with just single identity as a UPSC aspirant, then there is more pressure on us to perform, and
You should have hobbies and interests.
Absolutely.
so when we have diverse interests through the day, then the study itself is taken as just a compartment of the day. The study doesn't become our day. So that gives us more mind space to study more effectively and productively.
So did you both develop any new hobbies or interests during the course of preparation?
Sir, my hobby was just football earlier. Whenever I used to get time, I used to play football. But then it's very addictive of a sport to me, so I had to completely reduce it. And that took a huge toll on my confidence and also fitness. So then I started my exploration in chess. So I took it as a hobby, and I also bonded over people, which I normally don't. I don't socialize much. So now I have some 3 or 4 good people here.
So it is the physical chess, not through app. So
App
playing
and physical goals.
both. Okay.
So I didn't want to lose the life aspect of mine just because of preparation.
In your case?
Yes, sir. In my case, when I started this preparation, I started focusing more on chess just to keep me more focused. Apart from chess, sir, I'm an animal lover. I like to care for stray dogs especially. So, and also I'd like to take care of birds.
I think you started
animals.
reading these books also,
Yes,
no?
sir.
This
Since 2018,
philosophical.
yes, sir. You are one source of inspiration for me to take non-fiction, reading non-fiction book as one of my hobbies. As of now, I have read more than 12 books, sir, in these 4 years. And apart from that, sir, I also have a hobby of graphology, where I used to analyze handwriting. Based on that, I used to get an idea on the personality of a person. I learned it during my engineering days. So these were some of my hobbies that I developed recently, sir.
Okay. Like the elections are going on. You might have already voted, right? How are you prepared to face these challenges? The politics is not easy thing, and to maintain neutrality and to be an upright officer. So it's a big challenge. Into what is your insights?
Beginning phases of our career, how well we are able to maintain our uprightness. So that will play a big role in determining the
So if you come across very honest, upright officer, I think no one will dare to,
Yes, sir.
force you into do something wrong.
And I think even others will try to understand what kind of functioning you will be. So they will try to mend their own ways so that they get best possible outcome in the given circumstance, you being an upright person.
In your very first interview, you have scored 201. How did you score such a good score?
One, I was very original inside the interview hall, and through the mock interviews, few people try to put new things into your head, and a small thing was so one of the mock interviews they told, if the last board member, if you're not answering properly, 20 marks is gone then and there. In the interview hall, the last board member's questions, I was not very convinced, but I didn't let that suggestion which they gave affect me in the interview hall. I just left it outside the interview hall and went in as just me. And I come out, and when results came, it was all fine. So whatever tries to touch your core personality because of the examination process, and we try to fake it there, I don't think it will work. And also just having open eyes in world around us, and trying to be curious to find solutions. It may not be that you'll get the same question about the same things that you observed, but just those competencies, those characteristics that you have developed within yourself, when situational based questions or something totally off comes as a question, we'll be able to answer. Even in the interview, they go layers by layers inside, deep
Correct.
into the question. So only when we have thought about it, we'll be able to answer that. Only if we have broad knowledge about everything, like how we do in our mains and prelims.
Good. So it was very nice speaking to you, all of you. Now, if you have any questions for me, you can ask.
Sir, in these 10 years of your experience as a mentor, as a teacher, I'm pretty sure your experience would have been enriched by now. Is there any one particular incident, sir, which really impacted your life or which really moved you and which changed your thought process?
No, the radical step I have taken recently is to enter politics. So last year I entered politics, but I maintained the professionalism. When I come to institution with students, I don't discuss. Even in the class, I don't talk about it much. The decision was inspired. I felt our democracy, constitution, even our society, the morality of our society getting endangered. So I felt. I used to comment on Twitter. I used to explicitly express my opinion on Twitter. So I thought instead of being armchair critic, somebody who is wishing for a better thing, so why not plunge into action? So I thought politics is a platform, and I also do small services, helping people here and there. I thought getting into bigger platform like parliament or assembly will help me reach more number of people and help them. They actually changed my life. So past 1 year,
Yes.
so has been a kind of a roller coaster, totally different journey,
Yes.
and I have grown and I have matured and I have understood society even better than it used to be earlier. It was more like born out of my own mini experiences. So now I have touched lakhs of people. I have came across lakhs of people, hundreds of villages. So now I know the reality better.
All the best, sir.
Thank you. We'll see.
And
Whatever
I have
happens.
another question. Moving on in life pretty smoothly,
Hmm.
because as an aspirant, you moved on to open insights. From here, you have moved on to politics. So how did you develop this quality?
I think I've tweeted about this. What I see life is an opportunity with immense possibilities, right? Life itself. So we get stuck with one possibility. Majority of us, even when they enter that, they don't look at other possibilities to grow from there. So for me, exploring these multiple possibilities of life has been the core concern or core interest of my life. So if I don't succeed in something, then I will immediately look into another opportunity, another possibility. I keep doing it because it allows me to become a better person, and it keeps strengthening me from what I am to what I'm going to be. It makes life more exciting, not boring, and like life is more exciting, and you see immense opportunities, and I sleep very well because of this attitude. So I don't have tension about what next.
Sir, I do have a question. You earlier mentioned that the exam you asked whether it can be done by a rural person or coming from very humble background. Now that you have ventured into politics and you know the ground realities, what exactly do you think of that answer?
For this, I have a good understanding, I think, right now, because I traveled extensively across so many villages in the Davangere constituency. What I see is that there are lack of opportunities for these students. Once they graduate, they don't have anywhere to go. So during the higher education, they are not trained with respect to skill development, with respect to creation of awareness about what are the possibilities after graduation. When we don't have opportunities, we should know how to create opportunities for ourselves, right? That is why I wanted to get into parliament. So improve the very quality of education. That should give them courage to dream big, the education itself. So many people don't see the process with which you go through. So I see the process of you gaining the knowledge. I see the process of you dealing with the failure. I have seen you dealing with the life itself and coming out of failures and everything. So I know that your potential is much more than just attending protocols, attending meetings. So you are more original. So I think a lawmaker should challenge your intellect. Come out with innovative ideas. I have these noble intentions.
So rather than a question, I have a small 2 to 3 lines that I would like to tell you. So you've been a very poignant role model for me over the last
Thank you.
couple of years, and you taught me to dream big. You taught me to familiarize and be friends with failures. Through you, somehow I gained resilience of facing whatever is coming in my life and somehow trying to dissociate myself from the results.
Thank you for that, but I like to attribute back to you only. So what happens is that if you don't have, we discussed that also, no? Many people don't listen. Even if they listen, they don't follow. I keep telling the same thing, which I have told you, or I might have told you to 100 other people, 1,000 other people. But at the end of the day, it is you people, like very few people. So who implement it, who follow it. And once again, wish you big congratulations for achieving this. And I don't know if you remember, like I used to tell, this is not the end actually. So
Just
it is always
the start.
it is always the beginning. And as we discussed, I want you to explore multiple possibilities. I want you to win Olympic medal, right? I want you to author a wonderful book and maybe win prize. I want you to pursue something in semiconductor and make India semiconductor hub. And you also, like maybe, so your core interest, like you said chess, maybe you excel in chess and play for India, something like that. It can be done. In addition to your job, everything can be done. So wish you all the best, and
Thank you.
thank you for having this conversation.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
sir.
much.
Thank you.